Sofia Moretti thought delivering one last pizza to a mansion would be just another night, until she heard a child's desperate cry echoing from the darkness. What she pulled from that freezing pond wasn't just a drowning 7-year-old, but the daughter of the most dangerous man in the city. Within hours, the delivery driver who could barely afford her brother's medicine found herself trapped in a world of armed guards, family secrets, and a mafia boss whose cold gray eyes held more pain than she'd ever imagined. But when enemies from his past targeted the little girl again, Sophia discovered that sometimes the most dangerous thing isn't falling into someone's world, it's realizing you never want to leave. The woman who saved his daughter was about to save him too, in ways that would shatter everything he thought he knew about love, loyalty, and second chances. Subscribe and comment below if you believe one moment of courage can change 3 lives forever, because this story proves that sometimes drowning is just the beginning. Sofia Moretti adjusted her grip on the insulated delivery bag. Her hands ached from the cold October air. The mansion's iron gates loomed ahead through the darkness. Another rich family's dinner, she whispered to herself. Her phone buzzed. Matteo's name appeared on the screen. "Sophie, when are you coming home?" "Soon, baby. Just one more delivery." Sophia felt tired. Her 17-year-old brother needed his medication tonight. "Go to bed. I'll be there in an hour." "I can't sleep. My chest hurts again." Sophia's chest tightened. "Take the inhaler. I'll pick up your pills tomorrow." She ended the call and approached the security booth. 2 guards watched her through bulletproof glass. "Delivery for Romano," she called. One guard stepped outside. His eyes scanned her delivery uniform. "You're late." Traffic was heavy. Sophia shifted the bag to her other arm. "Where should I take this?" "Main entrance. Follow the path." The gates opened with a mechanical groan. Sophia walked through manicured gardens toward the massive stone house. Security lights tracked her movement. This place felt different from her usual stops. Quieter, more isolated. A splash echoed from somewhere behind the house. Sophia paused. The sound came again. Water, movement. Then a child's muffled cry pierced the night. Sophia dropped the delivery bag and ran toward the sound. Her sneakers slipped on wet stones as she rounded the corner of the mansion. A large pond reflected the security lights. Dark water rippled near the center. "Hello?" Sophia called. Silence. Sophia's breath caught. Something pale moved beneath the surface, small, sinking. She kicked off her shoes and dove into the freezing water. The cold shocked her lungs. She forced herself deeper. Her fingers touched fabric, a child's dress. Sophia wrapped her arms around the small body and kicked toward the surface. Her chest burned. The child was tangled in pond weeds. 9 minutes passed before Sophia broke the surface. She dragged the unconscious girl onto the stone edge. Water poured from the child's mouth. "Come on," Sophia whispered. She tilted the girl's head back and pressed her lips to the small mouth. Air flowed between them. The child coughed. Water spilled across the stones. Footsteps pounded toward them. Flashlight beams cut through the darkness. "Freeze!" a voice shouted. Sophia looked up. 6 men surrounded the pond. All held guns. "Don't move," another guard called. Sophia's vision blurred. The cold and oxygen loss caught up with her. The world tilted sideways. She collapsed next to the child as armed men closed in. Sophia woke on a leather couch. Thick blankets covered her shivering body. Her delivery uniform was gone, replaced by an oversized sweater and sweatpants. Voices argued in another room. How did she get past security? She was delivering food. The child was already in the water when... I don't care what she was doing. My daughter almost died. The last voice was deeper, controlled, dangerous. Sophia sat up slowly. Her head pounded. The room was enormous, with dark wood panels and expensive furniture. Oil paintings watched her from gold frames. A door slammed. Heavy footsteps approached. A man entered the room. Tall, broad shoulders, dark hair. His suit was perfectly tailored. His eyes were the coldest gray Sofia had ever seen. "You're awake?" Sofia nodded. "Where's the little girl?" "Safe." He studied her face. "Who are you?" "Sofia Moretti. I was delivering your dinner." "At 10 o'clock at night?" "I work late shifts." Sofia pulled the blanket tighter. "Is she okay? The girl?" Something shifted in his expression. "She's alive because of you." Sofia felt relief flood through her. "Good. I need to go home now." "No." The word was final, absolute. "Excuse me?" "You're not leaving until I understand what happened tonight." Sofia stood on shaky legs. "I told you. I heard her crying and jumped in. That's it. Children don't just fall into ponds." Maybe she was playing outside. His jaw tightened. Emilia hasn't played anywhere since her mother died. Sofia felt the pain in his words. "I'm sorry for your loss, but I really need to go." "Sit down." It wasn't a request. Sofia remained standing. "I said sit down. And I said I need to go home." They stared at each other. Sofia's heart hammered against her ribs. This man was used to being obeyed. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. A child appeared in the doorway. Sofia's breath caught. The girl from the pond stood there in pink pajamas. Her dark hair was still damp. Her brown eyes were huge in her pale face. The child looked at Sofia and ran across the room. She threw her small arms around Sofia's waist. "Hey, sweetheart," Sofia whispered. She knelt to the girl's level. "Are you feeling better?" The child nodded but didn't speak. She pressed closer to Sofia's side. The man watched them. His hands were clenched into fists. "Emilia, come here," he said softly. The child shook. Her head. She gripped Sofia's sweater. "She hasn't spoken since the accident," the man said. "She doesn't trust strangers." "She trusts me." "That's the problem." Sofia felt confused. Why is that a problem? Before he could answer, another man entered the room, shorter than the first, with sharp eyes and a thin mustache. "Boss," the newcomer said, "we have her information." The boss's gray eyes never left Sofia's face. "Tell me." Sofia Moretti, age 27, works for 3 different delivery companies. No permanent address. Sofia felt cold. "How do you know that?" "Your driver's license was in the bag you dropped." The boss stepped closer, along with unpaid bills and eviction notices. Sofia's face burned. "Those are private." "Not anymore?" His voice was quiet. "Who are you running from, Sofia?" "No one. People with stable lives don't work 3 jobs and sleep in their cars." Sofia's hand shook. Emilia seemed to sense her fear and squeezed her fingers. "I need to call my brother," Sofia said. "Your phone is being held for security purposes." "My brother is 17. He's alone. He needs his medication." The boss's expression didn't change. "What kind of medication?" "Asthma inhaler. His pills ran out yesterday." Sofia felt panic rising in her chest. Matteo couldn't afford another emergency room visit. They were already drowning in medical debt. The boss nodded to his companion. "Enzo, have someone check on the brother." "No," Sofia said quickly. "Don't send anyone to him. He'll be terrified." "Then tell me where he is." Sofia felt trapped. These men weren't police. They weren't social workers. But the child clinging to her seemed safe with them. "The Riverside Motel, room 14. Enzo left the room. Sofia heard him speaking quietly into a phone. "Please don't hurt him," Sofia whispered. The boss's eyes found hers. "I don't hurt children." What about their sisters? For a moment, something soft flickered in his gray eyes. That depends on whether they're lying to me. Sofia felt exhausted. The rescue, the cold water, and now this interrogation were taking their toll. Emilia seemed to sense her fatigue and patted her arm gently. "What's your name?" Sofia asked the boss. "Luca Romano." "This is your house?" "Yes." "And she's your daughter?" "Yes." Sofia looked down at Emilia. "She's beautiful." Luca's breath caught. "She looks identical to her mother." Pain filled his voice. Sofia felt sympathy she didn't want to feel. Enzo returned to the room. His expression was grim. "Boss," he said carefully, "we need to talk." Luca's jaw tightened. "Speak." "The boy is sick, really sick, and he's scared out of his mind." Sofia felt fear spike through her. "What do you mean, sick?" "He could barely breathe when we got there. We took him to the hospital." "No," Sofia whispered. She stood up quickly. Emilia's arms tightened around her waist. "I have to go to him." "The doctors are treating him," Luca said. "He'll be fine." "You don't understand. We can't afford the hospital. They'll want insurance information we don't have." "It's taken care of." Sofia stared at him. "What?" "The bill is handled. Your brother will get whatever treatment he needs." "Why would you do that?" Luca looked down at his daughter. Emilia was still pressed against Sofia's side, her small face turned up toward the woman who had saved her. "Because you saved my child's life," he said quietly. Sofia felt tears sting her eyes. "Thank you." "But you're not leaving." The gratitude died in her throat. "What do you mean?" "You and your brother will stay here until we understand what happened tonight." "That's kidnapping. That's protection." "From what?" Luca's gray eyes went cold again. "From whoever wants my daughter dead." Sofia felt the world shift around her. Someone tried to hurt her? Emilia doesn't play by the pond. She's terrified of water since her mother drowned. Someone put her there. Sophia's chest tightened. "You think someone pushed her in?" "I think someone wants to send me a message, and now you're part of it." Sofia looked down at Emilia. The child's brown eyes were wide and trusting. She had no idea how much danger surrounded her. "My brother," Sofia said, "if he's really in the hospital, he'll be brought here when he's released, tomorrow morning. I want to see him tonight. No. He's scared and sick and alone. He's safe." Luca's voice was final, which is more than I can say for any of us right now. Sofia felt helpless. Matteo needed her, but Emilia was holding her hand so tightly. And something in Luca's eyes told her that refusing wasn't really an option. "How long?" she whispered. "Until the threat is neutralized." "What does that mean?" "It means you're under my protection now, whether you want to be or not." Sofia felt trapped, but Emilia's small fingers were warm in hers, and Matteo was getting medical treatment they could never afford. Maybe staying one night wouldn't hurt. "Okay," she said quietly. "One night." Luca's smile was cold. "We'll see." A woman in a black uniform appeared in the doorway, middle-aged with kind eyes and graying hair. "Mr. Romano, the guest rooms are ready." "Thank you, Maria." Luca looked at Sofia. "Maria will show you where you'll be staying." Sofia felt Emilia's grip tighten on her hand. "What about her?" Sofia asked, nodding toward the child. "She'll sleep in her own room." Emilia shook her head firmly. She buried her face against Sofia's side. "She doesn't want to leave me," Sofia said. "She's 7 years old. She doesn't get to make that choice." Sofia knelt down to Emilia's level again. "Hey, sweetheart, you need to sleep in your own bed tonight, okay?" Emilia's eyes filled with tears. She shook her head again. Sofia felt her heart break a little. "I'll be right down the hall. If you need me, just come find me." The child considered this. After a moment, she nodded reluctantly. Good girl. Sofia smoothed Emilia's damp hair. Sweet dreams. Maria led Sofia down a long hallway lined with family portraits. The faces in the paintings looked stern and unforgiving. This will be your room, Maria said, opening a door. Sofia stepped inside and gasped. The room was bigger than the entire motel room she shared with Matteo. A 4-poster bed dominated the space. French doors opened onto a small balcony. There are clothes in the closet, Maria said. They should fit. Thank you. Breakfast is served at 8, but if you need anything before then, just press the button by the bed. Maria left Sofia alone. Sofia walked to the French doors and looked out at the grounds. Security lights illuminated the gardens. She could see the pond where she'd pulled Emilia from the water. What kind of life was this child living? Beautiful house, every luxury, but surrounded by armed guards and constant danger. Sofia's phone had been taken, so she couldn't call the hospital to check on Matteo. She felt helpless and worried. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Sofia opened the door. Emilia stood in the hallway, clutching a stuffed rabbit. Tears tracked down her pale cheeks. "Oh, honey," Sofia whispered. Emilia held up her arms. Sofia lifted the child and carried her to the bed. They curled up together on top of the covers. "Bad dream?" Sofia asked. Emilia nodded. She pressed closer to Sofia's warmth. Sofia stroked the child's hair until her breathing evened out. But sleep didn't come easily. Every sound in the house made her jump. Footsteps in the hallway, doors closing, the distant murmur of voices. What had she gotten herself into? Around midnight, Sofia heard the door open quietly. She tensed, ready to protect Emilia. Luca stood in the doorway. His eyes found them on the bed. Sofia curled protectively around his daughter. "She had a nightmare," Sofia whispered. Luca nodded. "She has them every night." About her mother, about the water. Sofia felt sadness wash over her. This beautiful child was traumatized, and now someone was trying to hurt her again. "I'll take her to her room," Lucas said quietly. "She's fine here, if that's okay." Lucas studied them for a long moment. His daughter looked peaceful for the first time in months. Her small face was relaxed against Sofia's shoulder. "Stay with her," he said finally. Sofia felt surprised. "Are you sure? She hasn't slept through the night since the accident. Maybe you're exactly what she needs." He started to leave, then turned back. "Sofia?" "Yes. Thank you for saving her, for staying." "I didn't really have a choice about staying." "No, but you chose to save her. That matters." After he left, Sofia lay awake staring at the ceiling. Emilia's small body was warm against hers. The child murmured in her sleep, tiny fingers clutching Sofia's sweater. Sofia felt something she hadn't felt in years. Purpose. This little girl needed her. And despite everything, the guns, the guards, the danger, Sofia was starting to need her too. Outside the window, security. Light swept across the grounds. Somewhere in the darkness, someone wanted to hurt this innocent child. Sofia's arms tightened around Emilia. She wouldn't let that happen, whatever the cost. Sofia woke to sunlight streaming through the French doors. Emilia was gone. Panic shot through her until she heard voices from downstairs. Sofia quickly showered and found clothes in the closet that fit perfectly. Someone had been very thorough in their preparations. She followed the sound of voices to a large kitchen. Emilia sat at a marble island, swinging her legs and eating pancakes. Lucas stood nearby, reading something on his phone. "Good morning," Sofia said. Emilia's face lit up. She patted the stool next to her. Sleep well? Luca asked. Sofia felt cautious. In the morning light, he looked less intimidating. His dark hair was slightly mussed. He wore jeans and a white button-down instead of his formal suit. Yes, thank you. Maria appeared with a plate of food. Pancakes and fruit, dear. This is too much, Sofia protested. Eat, Luca said. It wasn't a suggestion. Sofia sat next to Emilia. The child pushed her orange juice towards Sofia with a shy smile. Thank you, sweetheart. Emilia's smile widened. She wrote something on a napkin and slid it across the island. Sofia read the childish handwriting. Thank you for saving me. Sofia felt tears threaten. You're welcome, baby. Luca watched them interact. His expression was unreadable. When can I see my brother? Sofia asked. Soon. The doctor wants to keep him overnight for observation. Sofia felt worried. Is he getting worse? No. They're adjusting his medication. He'll be fine. A man entered the kitchen. Sofia recognized him from the night before. Enzo. Boss, we need to talk. Luca's jaw tightened. Later. It can't wait. Luca looked at Sofia, then at his daughter. Take Emilia to the garden. I'll stay with her, Sofia said. No, you'll both go outside. Together. Sofia felt confused, but Emilia was already sliding off her stool. She took Sofia's hand and led her toward a door. The garden was beautiful in the morning light. Rose bushes lined stone pathways. A fountain bubbled in the center of a small courtyard. Emilia pulled Sofia toward a wooden swing hanging from an old oak tree. Want me to push you? Sofia asked. Emilia nodded eagerly. Sofia gave her gentle pushes while scanning the grounds. Armed men stood at regular intervals along the property's perimeter. What kind of danger required this level of security? After 10 minutes, Luca appeared in the garden doorway. His expression was grim. Come inside, he called. Emilia pouted, but obeyed. Sofia followed them back to the kitchen. What's wrong? Sofia asked. Luca looked at his daughter. Emilia, go play in your room for a while. The child shook her head. She wrapped her arms around Sofia's waist. She can stay, Sofia said. If it's about her safety, she should know. She's 7. She's smart enough to understand danger. Luca studied his daughter's upturned face. After a moment, he sighed. Someone left a message at the front gate this morning. What kind of message? A threat against Emilia. Sofia felt cold. What did it say? That last night was just a warning. Sofia's arms tightened around Emilia. You think the same person who put her in the pond left the message? I'm certain of it. Who would want to hurt a child? Luca's gray eyes went hard. Someone who wants to hurt me. Sofia felt the weight of that statement. This wasn't random violence. This was personal. What do you do? She asked quietly. For work, I mean. Luca's smile was cold. I run the family business. Sofia's chest tightened. Family business. In this neighborhood, with this level of security, that meant only one thing. You're... Yes. Sofia felt the world tilt. She was holding the daughter of a Mafia boss. She was standing in his kitchen, eating his food, sleeping in his house. I want to leave, she whispered. No, you can't keep us here. I can, and I will. Sofia felt panic rising. My brother will be safe here, safer than anywhere else. This is insane. Luca stepped closer. Insane is someone trying to drown my daughter to get to me. Insane is you being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Insane is the fact that you're now a target too. I'm not involved in this. You became involved the moment you pulled Emilia out of that water. Sofia felt trapped, but Emilia was clinging to her, brown eyes wide with fear. How long? Sofia asked. Until the threat is eliminated. That could be weeks, months. Yes. Sofia looked down at Emilia. The child was trembling slightly. Her small world had already been shattered by her mother's death. Now someone was actively trying to hurt her. Sofia made a decision that would change everything. "Okay," she said quietly. "We'll stay. For now." Luca's expression softened slightly. "Thank you. But I want to see my brother today. He'll be here this afternoon." "Here?" "It's safer if you're all in the same place." Sofia nodded reluctantly. Emilia looked up at her with grateful eyes. "One more thing," Luca said. "From now on, you go nowhere without security. I'm not a prisoner. You're under my protection. Learn the difference." Sofia felt anger flare, but Emilia squeezed her hand. The child needed stability, safety, even if it came wrapped in guns and guards. "Fine," Sofia said, "but I want to know what we're up against." Luca's gray eyes met hers. "Someone who blames me for a loss they suffered. Someone patient enough to plan this for months. Male or female?" "Female, mid-40s, runs a rival organization." Sofia felt surprised. A woman is doing this? Women can be just as ruthless as men, sometimes more so. Sofia absorbed this information. A female crime boss wanted revenge against Luca, and she was willing to hurt a child to get it. "What did you do to her?" "That's not your concern." "It is now, since I'm apparently caught in the middle of it." Luca studied her face. After a moment, he spoke. 2 years ago, her son tried to muscle in on our territory. He was young, reckless. I warned him to back off. And? He didn't listen. Sofia felt cold. "What happened to him?" "He's dead." The words hung in the air between them. Sofia looked down at Emilia, who was listening with the solemnity of a child who had seen too much. "So she wants your daughter to pay for her son's death. An eye for an eye." Sofia felt sick. That's barbaric. That's our world. Sofia was beginning to understand the weight of protection that surrounded this house. This wasn't just about money or territory. This was about blood revenge. And somehow, she and Matteo were now part of it. A black SUV pulled through the gates just after lunch. Sofia watched from the kitchen window as 2 men helped Matteo out of the back seat. Her brother looked pale and shaky, but he was breathing normally. Sofia ran outside before anyone could stop her. "Matteo!" Her brother's face crumpled with relief when he saw her. "Sophie, what is this place? Those men said you were here, but I thought—" "I'm okay." Sofia pulled him into a tight hug. "Are you feeling better?" "The doctor gave me new medicine. Stronger stuff." Matteo looked around at the mansion, the guards, the expensive cars. "Sophie, what's going on?" "It's complicated." Luca appeared beside them. Matteo instinctively stepped behind his sister. "You must be Matteo," Luca said. His voice was gentler than Sofia had ever heard it. "I'm Luca Romano." Matteo's eyes darted between Luca and Sofia. "Are we in trouble?" "No," Sofia said quickly. "Mr. Romano is helping us." "Helping how?" Sofia struggled for words. How did she explain that they were essentially prisoners in a crime lord's house? Emilia solved the problem by appearing at Sofia's side. She smiled shyly at Matteo and waved. "This is Emilia," Sofia said. "She's 7. Matteo's expression softened. He'd always been good with younger kids. "Hi, Emilia. I'm Matteo." Emilia wrote something on her ever-present notepad and showed it to him. "Do you want to see my room?" "She doesn't speak much," Sofia explained quietly. "That's okay," Matteo said. He looked at Emilia. "Sure, I'd love to see your room." Emilia beamed and took his hand. Sofia felt something warm expand in her chest watching them together. "They'll be safe here," Luca said quietly. "For how long?" "As long as it takes." Sofia felt frustrated. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I can give. That evening, Sofia sat with Matteo in his assigned room. The guest suite was nicer than anywhere they'd ever lived. "This is crazy, Sophie," he whispered. "This guy is like, what, Mafia?" "Keep your voice down. Why are we really here?" Sofia told him everything: the rescue, the threats, the danger surrounding Emilia. Matteo listened with growing alarm. "So we're basically hostages. We're protected by criminals." Sofia felt defensive. "Emilia is just a little girl. Someone wants to hurt her." "That's terrible, but it's not our problem." Sofia looked toward the door. Down the hall, Emilia was probably getting ready for bed, alone, still traumatized by her mother's death, and now facing new threats. "She needs us, Matteo. We need to get out of here." "And go where? Back to the motel? Back to working 3 jobs and still not having enough money for your medicine?" Matteo was quiet for a moment. "The medicine they gave me costs $2,000 a month." Sofia felt shocked. "What?" "I heard the pharmacist talking to one of Romano's guys. Insurance doesn't cover it because it's too new." Sofia's chest tightened. $2,000. They'd never been able to afford that. "He's paying for it?" "Apparently." Sofia felt conflicted. Luca was essentially buying their cooperation with Matteo's health, but her brother needed that medicine to breathe normally. "Maybe staying isn't the worst thing," Matteo said quietly. "What?" "Look at this place, Sophie. Look at how Emilia lights up around you. Maybe this is where we're supposed to be right now." Sofia felt surprised by his acceptance. "You're 17. You should be in school, hanging out with friends." "I should be helping my sister instead of being a burden." "You're not a burden." "I am. We both know it." Matteo's voice was matter-of-fact. "My medical bills have ruined our lives. If staying here means I get treatment and you get to help that little girl, maybe it's worth it." Sofia felt tears sting her eyes. Her brother had grown up too fast, become too wise about sacrifice and survival. "I love you," she whispered. "I love you too, and I trust you. If you think this is right, then I'm with you." A soft knock interrupted them. Sofia opened the door to find Emilia in her pajamas, clutching her stuffed rabbit. "Nightmare again?" Sofia asked. Emilia nodded and held up her arms. Sofia lifted her and carried her to the bed. "Is it okay if Emilia stays with us tonight?" Sofia asked Matteo. "Of course." They arranged themselves on the large bed, Sofia in the middle, Emilia curled against her side, Matteo reading a book nearby. It felt oddly normal, like a real family. "Sophie?" Matteo said softly. "Yeah?" "I think she's good for you, too." Sofia looked down at Emilia, who was already falling asleep in her arms. The child's presence filled a hole Sofia hadn't realized existed. Maybe Matteo was right. Maybe this was where they belonged. The next few days settled into a routine. Sofia woke with Emilia beside her. Breakfast with Luca watching from across the kitchen. Hours in the garden while guards patrolled the perimeter. Lunch, quiet time, dinner. Matteo's health improved dramatically on the new medication. Color returned to his cheeks. He could run and play without gasping for breath. Emilia blossomed with Sofia's attention. She still didn't speak much, but she laughed more. She drew pictures constantly, always featuring Sofia, herself, and Matteo as stick figures holding hands. Sofia tried not to think about the armed men stationed around the property, or the fact that she couldn't leave the grounds without permission, or the way Luca watched her with those unreadable gray eyes. On Thursday morning, Sofia found Emilia in the garden, crouched by the pond. The child was dropping pebbles into the water, watching the ripples spread. "Hey, sweetheart," Sofia said gently. What are you doing?" Emilia pointed to the water, then to herself. Sofia felt understanding dawn. "You're trying to remember what happened?" Emilia nodded. Tears filled her brown eyes. Sofia sat beside her on the stone edge. "Do you remember falling in?" Emilia shook her head. "Do you remember anything from that night?" Emilia thought for a moment. Then she pointed toward the house and made a pushing motion with her hands. Sofia's blood went cold. "Someone pushed you?" Emilia nodded frantically. She grabbed Sofia's hand and squeezed it tight. "Emilia, this is very important. Did you see who pushed you?" The child nodded again. She picked up a stick and drew in the dirt, a circle with long lines coming from it. "Hair?" Sofia asked. "Long hair?" "Yes." Emilia's first word in days came out as a whisper. She immediately covered her mouth with both hands, as if surprised by her own voice. "It's okay, baby. You can talk to me." "Woman," Emilia whispered. "Mean woman." Sofia felt her heart racing. "Where was this woman when she pushed you?" Emilia pointed toward the back of the garden near the tree line. "She was hiding, waiting." Sofia pulled Emilia into her arms. The child had been specifically targeted. Someone had waited in the shadows and pushed a 7-year-old into deep water. "We need to tell your papa," Sofia said gently. Emilia shook her head violently. "Why not?" "He'll be sad." Sofia felt her chest tighten. This little girl was protecting her father's feelings even while processing her own trauma. "Emilia, your papa needs to know, so he can keep you safe. Promise you won't leave?" The question came out in a tiny voice. Sofia felt something break inside her. "I won't leave you, sweetheart. I promise." Emilia nodded reluctantly. "Okay." Sofia stood and took Emilia's hand. They walked back to the house together, where Luca was reading reports in his study. "We need to talk," Sofia said. Luca looked up. His eyes moved from Sofia's tense expression to his daughter's tear-stained face. "What's wrong?" "Emilia remembers what happened that night." Luca went very still. "Remembers what?" Sofia gently coaxed Emilia to repeat what she'd told her. The child's voice was barely audible as she described the woman with long hair who had pushed her into the pond. Luca's face went white, then red. His hands clenched into fists. "Papa," Emilia said softly, "are you mad?" "Not at you, Piccola. Never at you." His voice was strained with controlled fury. "Thank you for telling me." After Emilia left to find Matteo, Luca turned to Sofia. "Thank you for getting her to talk. She trusts me." "I can see that." Something shifted in his expression. "She's spoken more in the past week than in the past 6 months. She just needed someone to listen. She needed a mother." The words hung between them. Sofia felt uncomfortable with the implication. "I'm not trying to replace anyone." "I know." Luca's voice was soft. "But she's attaching to you, strongly." "Is that a problem?" "It could be. When this is over." "When this is over, what? You'll just send us away? After she's bonded with me?" Luca looked pained. "I don't know." Sofia felt anger flare. "You can't do that to her. She's already lost her mother." "And I can't keep you here forever." "Why not?" The question surprised them both. Sofia felt heat rise in her cheeks. "I mean, if we're happy here, if Emilia is healing, if Matteo is healthy, why does it have to end?" Luca stared at her. "Because this isn't a normal life, Sofia. This is a fortress. You and Matteo deserve better." "Better than what? Than safety? Than family? Than belonging somewhere?" "Than being prisoners." "Are we prisoners, or are we protected?" Luca was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know anymore." That evening, Sofia couldn't sleep. She walked onto the balcony and looked out at the moonlit grounds. A figure moved in the shadows near the tree line. Sofia's breath caught. Security guard or intruder? The figure stepped into the light. Female, average height, long dark hair. Sofia's heart hammered against her ribs, the woman from Emilia's description. Sofia ran from the room and down the hallway. She pounded on Luca's door. "Someone's outside," she said when he answered, "by the trees where Emilia said the woman was hiding." Luca was instantly alert. "Stay here." "No." "Sofia, if someone's after Emilia, I'm not leaving her alone." Luca looked like he wanted to argue, but alarms were already sounding throughout the house. Guards' voices echoed in the corridors. "Get Emilia and Matteo," Luca said. "Bring them to the safe room." Sofia ran to Emilia's room. The child was sitting up in bed, eyes wide with fear. "Come with me, baby." Sofia scooped Emilia up and ran to Matteo's room. Her brother was already awake, pulling on clothes. "What's happening?" "Emergency. We need to get to the safe room." They followed Sofia through corridors she was still learning. The safe room was behind Luca's study. Steel-reinforced walls, communication equipment, enough supplies for days. Enzo was already there, speaking rapidly into a radio. "Perimeter breach on the south side," he reported. "Single female, armed." Sofia held Emilia tight. The child was trembling but not crying. "Where's Luca?" Sofia asked. "Leading the sweep." Sofia felt fear spike through her. "He's out there?" "It's his job." "His job is staying alive for his daughter." Enzo looked at her with new respect. "You care about him." Sofia felt surprised by the realization. "He's important. To Emilia." "And to you?" Before Sofia could answer, gunshots erupted outside. Emilia flinched and buried her face against Sofia's shoulder. "It's okay, baby," Sofia whispered. "We're safe here." But she didn't feel safe. Not with Luca somewhere in the darkness, facing an enemy who had already tried to kill his child. The shooting stopped abruptly. Silence stretched for long minutes. Finally, Luca's voice came through the radio. "All clear. Suspect neutralized." Sofia felt relief flood through her. Emilia lifted her head. "Papa's okay?" "Yes, sweetheart. Papa's okay." 20 minutes later, Luca appeared in the safe room doorway. His clothes were dirty, and there was a cut on his cheek, but he was unhurt. Emilia launched herself into his arms. "Papa! I'm here, Piccola, I'm here." Sofia watched them embrace, father and daughter clinging to each other in the aftermath of violence. This was their reality, constant danger, constant vigilance. "Is she dead?" Sofia asked quietly. Luca nodded. "It's over." "Are you sure?" "She was working alone, personal vendetta, not organizational." Sofia felt something loosen in her chest. "So we're safe now?" "Yes." Sofia looked around the safe room, at Matteo slumped with exhaustion, at Emilia still wrapped around her father, at Enzo cleaning his weapon with practiced efficiency. They were safe. The threat was gone, which meant, "We can leave now," she said quietly. Luca's gray eyes found hers. "If that's what you want." Sofia felt torn. Part of her wanted to grab Matteo and run back to their normal life. But what life was that? Poverty, constant worry, Matteo's declining health, and Emilia. How could she abandon this little girl who had come to trust her? "I don't know what I want," Sofia said honestly. "Then stay," Luca said, "until you figure it out." "For how long?" "As long as you need." Sofia felt something shift in her chest. This wasn't about protection anymore. This wasn't about debt or obligation. This was about choice. "Okay," she said quietly. "We'll stay." Emilia looked up at both of them with a radiant smile. In that moment, Sofia realized she wasn't just choosing to stay. She was choosing them, this strange, complicated family that had formed around a moment of crisis. And despite everything, the danger, the violence, the uncertainty, it felt like home. The weeks that followed felt surreal. Without the constant threat hanging over them, the mansion transformed from a fortress into something closer to a home. Emilia laughed more freely. Matteo explored every corner of the property with teenage enthusiasm. Sofia found herself settling into rhythms she'd never expected. Mornings were hers and Emilia's time. They walked through the gardens while the child chattered about her drawings, her dreams, her slowly healing memories. Emilia's vocabulary expanded daily, as if Sofia's presence had unlocked something vital inside her. Afternoons belonged to all three of them. Matteo taught Emilia card games, while Sofia helped with homework. They read stories on the library's leather couches. They baked cookies with Maria, flour dusting their clothes, and laughter echoing through the kitchen. Evenings were the hardest. After Emilia went to bed, Sofia found herself alone with Luca more often. He would appear in the kitchen while she made tea, or in the library while she browsed the shelves. Never intrusive, but always present. "You don't have to entertain me," Sofia told him one night. They sat across from each other in his study, she with a book, he with business reports. "I'm not entertaining you." "Then what are you doing?" Luca looked up from his papers. "Enjoying the company." Sofia felt heat rise in her cheeks. "Oh, is that a problem?" "No, it's just different." "Different how?" Sofia struggled to put it into words. "I've never lived somewhere that felt this peaceful." "Peaceful?" Luca's eyebrow rose. "We had armed guards in a safe room." "I meant emotionally peaceful. No one yelling, no one threatening to call the police if we're 5 minutes late with rent. No one making Matteo feel guilty for being sick." Luca's expression softened. "What was your life like before?" Sofia hesitated. She'd never told anyone the full story. "Chaotic," she said finally. "We've been on our own since I was 18. Our parents died in a car accident. Matteo was only 8. You raised him?" "I tried to, but I was just a kid myself. I made so many mistakes." "He seems well adjusted." "Now, maybe. But there were years when I couldn't afford his medicine. Times when we lived in the car because I couldn't make rent. I failed him over and over." Luca was quiet for a moment. "You were 19 years old and keeping a sick child alive with no help. That's not failure. That's heroic." Sofia felt tears threaten. It didn't feel heroic. It felt desperate. "The best kind of love usually does." Their eyes met across the room. Sofia felt something electric pass between them. "Luca, Papa?" Emilia's small voice interrupted from the doorway. She stood there in her nightgown, clutching her stuffed rabbit. "Bad dream?" Sofia asked gently. Emilia nodded and patted over to Sofia's chair. But instead of climbing into Sofia's lap as usual, she looked uncertainly between the two adults. "What is it, sweetheart?" Sofia asked. Emilia whispered something in Italian to her father. Luca's expression grew tender. "She wants to know if you're going to marry me," Luca translated. Sofia felt her face burn. "What?" "Children see things simply," Luca said carefully. "To her, we're a family. She thinks that means marriage," Sofia finished. "See." Emilia climbed into Sofia's lap and looked up at her with hopeful brown eyes. "Tesoro," Luca said gently to his daughter. "Sofia and I are friends. Good friends." Emilia's face fell. She said something else in rapid Italian. "What did she say?" Sofia asked. Luca looked uncomfortable. "She said her mom and papa were friends first, and that you already take care of us better than anyone." Sofia's breath caught from the mouths of babes. She also said, Luca continued, his voice softer now, that she's never seen me smile the way I do when you're around. The silence stretched between them. Emilia looked back and forth, sensing the tension but not understanding it. I should take her back to bed, Sofia said quietly. Sofia, no, don't. Whatever you're thinking, don't say it. Sofia stood with Emilia in her arms. Come on, baby, let's get you tucked in. But as they left the study, Sofia felt Luca's eyes following them, and she felt something dangerous blooming in her chest, something that felt suspiciously like hope. The next morning brought an unwelcome surprise. Sofia woke to voices arguing in the hallway outside her room. Absolutely not. They're civilians. They're part of this family now. They're guests who overstayed their welcome. Sofia recognized the second voice as Luca's. The first belonged to someone she'd never heard before. She opened the door quietly and peered out. Luca stood facing a man in an expensive suit, older, silver-haired, with cold eyes. Uncle Salvatore, Luca said carefully, I've made my decision. You've lost your mind. That woman has you thinking with your... Careful. The warning in Luca's voice was unmistakable. Uncle Salvatore held up his hands. I'm trying to protect you, nephew. The family is asking questions. What kind of questions? About your domestic arrangements. About whether grief has compromised your judgment. Sofia felt cold. She was causing problems for Luca with his own family. My judgment is fine, Luca said quietly. Then prove it. Send them away. No. Luca. They stay. End of discussion. Uncle Salvatore's expression hardened. The family won't tolerate this indefinitely. Then the family can find a new leader. Sofia's breath caught. Luca was willing to risk his position for them? After Uncle Salvatore left, Sofia found Luca on the terrace overlooking the garden. Emilia and Matteo were playing below, their laughter carrying on the morning air. I heard your conversation, Sofia said. Luca didn't look surprised. How much? Enough. Your family wants us gone. My uncle wants you gone. He doesn't speak for everyone. But he speaks for some. Luca was quiet for a moment. Yes. Sofia felt the weight of their situation settling on her shoulders. We're causing problems for you. You're worth the problems. The simple statement hit Sofia like a physical blow. Luca, I know what you're going to say. That we should leave, that you don't want to cause trouble, that this was always temporary. Wasn't it? Luca turned to face her fully. His gray eyes were intense. Was it? Sofia felt trapped by his gaze. I don't know. I do. What do you know? I know that Emilia laughs now. I know that Matteo is healthy and happy. I know that this house feels alive for the first time in 2 years. Sofia's chest tightened. And I know that when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I think about is seeing you at breakfast. I know that when I'm dealing with business, I count the hours until I can come home to all of you. Sofia felt her heart hammering. Luca, I know that you've brought light into our lives when I thought we'd live in darkness forever. Sofia was quiet for a long moment, watching Emilia chase Matteo around the fountain below. What are you saying? She asked softly. I'm saying I don't want this to end. Even if it costs you your position? Even then. Sofia felt tears threaten. That's crazy. Maybe, but losing you feels crazier. Before Sofia could respond, Emilia's voice called up to them. Sofia! Matteo fell in the fountain. They looked down to see Matteo sitting waist-deep in the fountain's shallow pool, laughing and completely soaked. Emilia was giggling so hard she could barely stand. Sofia found herself laughing too. I should go help him. Sofia. She turned back to Luca. Think about what I said, he asked quietly. Sofia nodded and went to rescue her brother, but as she helped Matteo out of the fountain, she felt Luca's words echoing in her mind. What did she want? Really want? Safety for Matteo, health and happiness, a place to belong. But more than that, she wanted Emilia's laughter every morning. She wanted to see the child grow up confident and loved. She wanted to help heal the trauma that still shadowed those bright brown eyes. And Luca, Sofia felt something flutter in her chest every time he looked at her, the way his stern expression softened when Emilia climbed into his lap, the way he listened intently when Sofia talked about her past, the way he'd stood up to his own family to protect them. But wanting something and being able to have it were two different things. Sophie? Matteo's voice interrupted her thoughts. You okay? Yeah, just thinking. About Luca? Sofia felt heat rise in her cheeks. What makes you say that? The way you look at each other, like you're having whole conversations without words. It's complicated. Love usually is. Sofia stared at her 17-year-old brother. When did you get so wise? When I stopped being sick enough to think clearly. Matteo's expression grew serious. Sophie, I've watched you sacrifice everything for me for 9 years. Maybe it's time you chose something for yourself. I chose to save Emilia. No, you chose to save a drowning child because that's who you are. Staying here, building something with Luca and Emilia, that would be choosing happiness. Sofia felt overwhelmed. What if I'm wrong? What if this doesn't work out? Then we'll figure it out, together, like always. That evening, Sofia lay in bed staring at the ceiling. Emilia was curled against her side, sleeping peacefully. Down the hall, she could hear Luca moving around his room. What did she want? She wanted this. The warmth of Emilia's small body beside her, the knowledge that Matteo was safe and healthy in the next room, the feeling of belonging somewhere after years of running. She wanted Luca's smile when she entered her room. She wanted his protection and his strength. She wanted to help him heal the same way he'd helped heal them, but most of all, she wanted to stop being afraid. Afraid of losing what they'd built, afraid of wanting too much, afraid of believing she deserved this kind of happiness. Sofia made a decision that would change everything. She was done running. The next morning, Sofia found Luca in his study early, before Emilia and Matteo were awake. We need to talk, she said. He looked up from his papers. That sounds ominous. It's not, I hope. Sofia took a deep breath. I've been thinking about what you said yesterday. And I think you're right. This doesn't feel temporary anymore. Something shifted in Luca's expression, hope carefully controlled. What are you saying, Sofia? I'm saying I want to stay. Not as a guest, not as someone under protection, as someone who belongs here. Luca stood slowly. You're sure? No, I'm terrified, but I'm sure I want to try. Luca crossed the room until he was standing close enough to touch her. What changed your mind? Emilia. She's healing because she feels safe and loved. Matteo is thriving because he's not worried about money or medicine. And you. Sofia looked up into his gray eyes. I'm happy here. Happier than I've ever been. I don't want to give that up. Even knowing the risks, my world, my family's objections, even knowing all of that. Luca reached up and cupped her face gently. Sofia. Papa. Sofia. They sprang apart as Emilia appeared in the doorway, hair mussed from sleep. Good morning, sweetheart, Sofia said, her voice slightly breathless. Emilia looked between them with knowing eyes. Are you going to kiss? Emilia, Luca said with gentle reproach. Mama said people who love each other always kiss in the morning. Sofia felt her heart stop. Sweetheart, I love you, Sofia, and Papa loves you too. I can tell. The innocent honesty in the child's voice broke something open inside Sofia. She knelt down to Emilia's level. I love you too, baby. So much. Then you'll stay forever? Sofia looked up at Luca. He was watching them with an expression she'd never seen before. Soft, vulnerable, completely unguarded. Yes, Sofia said quietly. I'll stay forever. Emilia launched herself into Sofia's arms with a squeal of joy. Over the child's head, Sofia saw Luca's smile, radiant, transformative, full of promises she was finally ready to believe. When Emilia ran off to wake Matteo with the good news, Luca helped Sofia to her feet. Forever is a long time, he said softly. I know. Are you ready for that? Instead of answering with words, Sofia reached up and pulled his head down to hers. Their lips met in a kiss that was gentle, tentative, full of hope and possibility. When they broke apart, Luca rested his forehead against hers. I love you, he whispered. I love you too. Down the hallway, they could hear Emilia and Matteo's excited voices as the child shared her news. Their family was complete. Finally, Sofia had found her home. 6 months later, Sofia woke to sunlight streaming through the windows of what was now their shared bedroom. Emilia was no longer the frightened child who crawled into bed every night. She slept confidently in her own room, secure in the knowledge that Sofia would be there in the morning. Sofia found Luca already awake, watching her with soft gray eyes. Good morning, she whispered. Good morning, beautiful. The endearment still made her heart flutter. 6 months, and she still couldn't quite believe this was real. Voices echoed from downstairs, Emilia's chatter and Matteo's patient responses. Their morning routine had become sacred. Breakfast together, Emilia's excited plans for the day, Matteo's dry commentary that made them all laugh. I have something for you, Luca said quietly. Sofia felt curious. It's not my birthday. It's better than your birthday. Luca reached into his nightstand drawer and pulled out a small velvet box. Sofia's breath caught. Luca, before you say anything, let me explain. His voice was nervous, unsure, emotion she rarely heard from him. I know we've only been together 6 months. I know this is fast. It is fast. But I also know that I've never been more certain of anything in my life. Luca opened the box to reveal a simple, elegant diamond ring. I know that you complete our family in ways I never thought possible. Sofia felt tears threaten. The ring was beautiful, but more than that, it represented everything she'd never dared to hope for. I know that Emilia needs you, Luca continued, but more than that, I need you. I love you, Sofia. I want to build a life with you. Luca, will you marry me? Sofia looked at the ring, then at the man holding it. 6 months ago, she'd been a runaway delivery driver with no home and no hope. Now she was looking at a future filled with love, security, and belonging. Yes, she whispered. Luca's face transformed with relief and joy. He slipped the ring onto her finger with trembling hands. Yes, he asked, as if he couldn't quite believe it. Yes, I'll marry you. Luca pulled her into his arms and kissed her deeply. When they broke apart, both were laughing through tears. We should tell the children, Sofia said. They already know. What? Luca's smile was sheepish. Emilia helped me pick out the ring, and Matteo gave me his blessing 3 weeks ago. Sofia felt overwhelmed by love for this man who understood her so completely. You asked my brother's permission? He's the closest thing you have to family. His approval mattered. Before Sofia could respond, the bedroom door burst open. Emilia ran in wearing her favorite pink dress, followed by a grinning Matteo. "Did she say yes?" Emilia demanded. "She said yes," Luca confirmed. Emilia launched herself onto the bed with a squeal. "I'm going to have a mama!" Sofia caught the child in her arms, tears streaming down her face. "You've always had me, baby. Now it's just official." "Can I be in the wedding?" "Of course." "Can I help plan everything?" "Absolutely." Matteo sat on the edge of the bed, looking pleased. "Congratulations, Sophie." "Thank you for giving your blessing." "Are you kidding? This guy saved our lives in every way that matters." Matteo looked at Luca with genuine respect. "Welcome to the family." "Thank you for trusting me with your sister." Sofia felt her heart overflow watching them, her brother and the man she loved accepting each other completely. They spent the morning making plans. A small ceremony in the garden where it all began. Maria would handle the catering. Enzo would walk Sofia down the aisle since she had no father to do it. "What about your family?" Sofia asked Luca quietly, while Emilia showed Matteo her extensive collection of wedding magazines. "They'll come around. Uncle Salvatore is already warming up to you." "Really?" "He said you have spine. From him, that's high praise." Sofia felt nervous about becoming part of such a complicated family. But then she looked at Emilia, who was excitedly planning flower arrangements, and Matteo, who was healthy and happy. This was worth fighting for. That afternoon, they took a family walk through the gardens. Emilia ran ahead, pointing out all the places where they could put decorations for the wedding. Matteo followed more slowly, still careful with his breathing, but no longer afraid. Sofia walked with Luca, their hands intertwined. The ring caught the sunlight and sparkled. "Are you happy?" Luca asked softly. Sofia looked around at their small family, at the beautiful grounds that were now truly home, at the future stretching bright and certain before them. "I'm happy," she said simply. They paused by the pond where everything had started. The water was clear and calm, reflecting the blue sky above. "Do you ever regret it?" Sofia asked. "Diving in that night?" "Diving in was the best decision I ever made." Emilia came running back to them, breathless with excitement. "Matteo says we can have ice cream for dinner if we're celebrating." "Did he now?" Luca asked with mock seriousness. "It was just a suggestion," Matteo called, grinning. "Ice cream for dinner it is," Luca declared. Emilia cheered and threw her arms around both Sofia and Luca. As they stood there by the pond, wrapped in each other's arms, Sofia felt complete. She'd spent years running from one temporary shelter to another. Now she was home. 3 months later, on a perfect spring morning, Sofia walked down a flower-lined aisle in the garden. Enzo's arm was steady beneath hers, his gruff face surprisingly emotional. Emilia scattered rose petals in front of them, wearing a white dress that made her look like an angel. Matteo stood at the altar next to Luca, both men in matching dark suits. But Sofia only had eyes for Luca. He watched her approach with wonder, as if he couldn't believe this was really happening. The ceremony was simple, intimate, perfect. They exchanged vows they'd written themselves, promising love, protection, and partnership for the rest of their lives. When the priest pronounced them husband and wife, Luca kissed Sofia with infinite tenderness. Emilia cheered. Matteo wiped his eyes. Even Uncle Salvatore smiled. The reception lasted late into the evening. They danced under string lights in the garden, surrounded by family and friends who had become their chosen family. During their first dance, Luca whispered in Sofia's ear, "Thank you." "For what?" "For saving us all." Sofia looked over his shoulder at Emilia, who was dancing with Matteo, both of them laughing, at Maria, who was crying happy tears, At Enzo, who was actually smiling. "We saved each other," Sofia said. As the night wound down, they walked through the quiet garden together. Emilia had fallen asleep in Matteo's arms. The pond reflected the moonlight peacefully. "Mrs. Romano," Luca said softly. Sofia felt a thrill at the new name. "Yes, Mr. Romano?" "Welcome home." Sofia looked up at the mansion, their home, with warm lights glowing in every window. Looked at the man beside her, strong and gentle and completely hers. Looked at the sleeping child who had called her mama since the day they met. "I'm already there," she said. They walked inside together, carrying their sleeping daughter between them. Matteo followed, yawning but content. At the top of the stairs, they paused outside Emilia's room. "Sweet dreams, Piccola," Luca whispered as he tucked her into bed. Emilia's eyes fluttered open. "Mama, Papa." "We're here, baby," Sofia said softly. "Always?" "Always." Emilia smiled and closed her eyes again. "Love you. We love you too." Later, as Sofia and Luca lay in their bed, she thought about the journey that had brought them here. A desperate dive into dark water. A choice to stay when everything said to run. The slow build of trust, then love, then family. "Any regrets?" Luca asked, echoing her thoughts. Sofia considered the question seriously. Her old life had been hard, uncertain, lonely. This life came with complications, responsibilities, a level of wealth and power she was still adjusting to, but it also came with love, safety, purpose, home. "None," she said firmly. Luca pulled her closer. "Good, because you're stuck with us now." Sofia laughed softly. "Promise?" "Promise." Outside their window, the grounds were quiet and peaceful. Security lights swept the perimeter, but not from fear now, from routine protection of something precious. Sofia closed her eyes and listened to the sounds of home. Luca's steady breathing beside her. The grandfather clock chiming midnight in the hallway. The soft whisper of wind through the trees. She was safe. They were all safe. And for the first time in her life, Sofia Moretti Romano fell asleep without worry, secure in the knowledge that she would wake up exactly where she belonged. In the morning, Emilia's voice would wake them with excited plans for the day. Matteo would stumble downstairs demanding coffee. Maria would fuss over breakfast preparations. Luca would kiss Sofia good morning and tell her he loved her. Their life would unfold in ordinary moments, made extraordinary by love. But for now, Sofia simply held tight to the man beside her and smiled. She was finally, completely home.